Resurrect. Natural communications. Supernatural communications. Rise ear, raw C. Raise your AC. Okay. Raise your ka. This video is extremely important. It is about resurrection. It is about judgment. Okay. It is about staking. When you reach out to God, you know, it is obvious what happens. That God is, you have his attention. Okay, if you do, right? And the idea is, if you are worthy, you have his attention. If you are his son, you have his attention. Okay. So what we see here is a martial art order and people insisting that they follow the rules, the ancient truths, the ancient principles. And I've outlined them in other videos to help people understand the nuances and the things they try to confuse you about in church, etc. Okay, the natural communication, right? To commune. Okay, to communicate with the dead. If people died in the true martial art order, okay, I can reach out to God. Symbolically, perhaps, certainly, naturally, through the sun, especially, to try to communicate with those people who have died. This is part of Igbo martial arts culture and other martial art cultures as well. It is the transcendent hero who has the highest of honors, who is said to be brought back to life, right? To reincarnate, so to speak, right? They say the devil incarnate, right? It's simply just the spirit coming in to the flesh, right? Coming into the spiritual awareness of somebody, right? That's part of what sparring is. Sparred spirit. You're sparring against the spirit. So you can also call the spirits. This is something magicians can't do. They use psychology and wordplay, and they put themselves in a state of mind where they feel like they can. But they can't, because sorcery is evil. But martial arts and bringing a sword, spiritually and otherwise, is truth, right? So we get to page 12. A master of the martial art Diumba, which is a wrestling art, right? But what they're referring to is truth, who remained true to the accompanying moral code, could become a transcendent hero, the most honored of ancestors, who could be called upon for guidance in important matters and could reincarnate among the living while retaining a position among the dead ancestors. It's the top paragraph here. I don't know how well you can see it. Maybe you want to kind of pause it, take a screenshot. I've posted these pictures before. This is key, right? Now, going on, obviously this is, key, I'm not using wordplay. This is important. 11, okay, bottom part. Mastering either art could bring a skilled practitioner respect for his graceful execution, right? Graceful, the God's grace, especially. The admiration of potential wives, not to be confused with demo, right? Demean, right? De-min, right? The patriot of chemists. Demos meaning peasant or people. Demos, D-E-I-M-O-S, meaning terror, right? If somebody is not in the divine order, they are with the peasants, right? The rebelling peasants against the true martial art order, not to be confused with the government or the royal families of the world other than mine. Har, where, hair, war, who is worthy, who isn't, right? Who lives by money and image, and who lives by grace of God and martial arts execution. Anyway, so mastering either art could bring skilled practitioner respect for his graceful execution, the admiration of potential wives, and economic advancement. Each art provided a path of spiritual development that could take an exceptional adept to one of the highest forms of honor in Africa, the status of a transcendent hero. So as you see, one of the highest forms of honor, the highest form is Pharaoh, King of Kings, right? If you're from a tribe or a grouping of people with a martial arts king who comes from the continuity of martial arts excellence and drawing on his rightful place to conquer everyone else in the tribe and everyone else who would come, you are the King of Kings. This, long before the Bible, is what it meant to be the King of Kings. Har, where, heir, war, right? The heir to the throne of all kings. The King of Kings. No, Gaddafi was not the King of Kings. The image that the pagans put for Jesus was not the King of Kings. Okay? The man Igbo, unless he is referring to the true king, is not the King of Kings. The person they prop up right these days as king is not the King of Kings. I am the King of Kings. So similarly, okay, so going on. So someone who was initiated in the full mastery of Ngolo could become a special kind of ancestor, one who could physically manifest in the bodies of his descendants. Well, how is this possible? A lot of people will look at this thing, oh, this is religion. This is not religion. This is obvious. Okay, they're referring to the spirit that one passed on from father to son through making love, right? Penetration, right? Spirit in more than one way. It takes maturity to see the truth here and stop acting like a bitch. I'm like, oh, and that's when they start acting like bitches. When people like me start talking about things like this, they act like sniveling, mage, crafty, little ha-ha-ha Mason little bitches, laughing behind the scenes like little sniveling villains or something. Yes, making love is part of this. Conveying the true spirit of God into your wife, and she gives birth. God is the creator, and this is the spirit that caused this creation to come in. So in the same martial arts spirit and making love in that spirit comes this same spirit of connecting to the spirit, to the source of the spirit, which is God himself. And your ancestors who are in the martial art order, those who are connected to that spirit, and they can be called forth. Okay, and be called on for guidance in important matters. We are talking about martial arts guidance and martial arts communication. We are not talking about talking devil deities. This is magic card lies and bitch shit, and not the truth that these people are referring to. Okay, so similarly, the Biafran, right? Biafran, Biafra, right? The Biafran art of Umba, right? Umba also means know, right? Know it's not wrestling. Know what it really is. And wrestling is more associated with the boa, right? That some of these people seek to snake me. It has to do with the airy and neary myths and who gets what from it and why, and who's related to who and why. Who, what, when, where, how, why. Okay, the most honored of ancestors, right? So a master of the art, okay, so I read that earlier, right? Similarly in the Biafran art of Umba and his cognates could serve, similarly the art of Umba and its cognates could serve as a tool to achieve the highest of honors. A master of the martial art, the Umba, who remained true to the company moral code, could become a transcendent hero, the most honored of ancestors. Okay, so you look at this thing. This is part of why I'm the blameless one. There is nothing that should be out of my grasp. I am the king of kings. And if a female cannot detect that and naturally submit, certainly she is evil. Think about it. After one has been training martial arts for all these years, the spirit is just flowing from me. And if for nothing else, when I'm drugged, the spirit of a sabotaged good man comes about you, right? You know, it's like seeing Jesus on the cross and you can't tell, you know, if this idea was true, and you can't tell that's the Son of God. Well, why not? You know, because you're evil. You weren't there in time to receive the truth. And of course, this isn't a perfect example because they go some magic card, beta, bitch way with it to try to justify their sniveling cowardice. Anyway. Abba, right? Obi, Ebo, right? Obi means king, heart, hut, and temple, right? This is the reproduction of a more and more worthy vessel building up, where everyone else is building down while trying to snake and trying to take the females that are close to me genetically. And this is why a lot of people sort of resemble me. But make sure, you know that if they are not in the divine order, which ends with me, they are bitch, okay? Body, right? Ba, de, why? Okay? Why day be? I day be. Buy, die, day, do, and do. Right? And bad I. You do all the math, you see it saying what I'm saying in its truest form. Okay? Structure, strike, struck, stroke. Ear, or, your, you are, e. E, right, and right is in ritual. Court, and car, and truck. Okay. Basically, the wordplay here proves my point. Figure, faux gear, E-I-O-Y-A. Okay, faux gay, ray, row, ear, or, your, hour. E, ra, go, F, F word, F-A-G, your E. Okay, so it's your figure. You know, do you have a gay figure? You know, of course, you see black people being murked more than any other race at this point in America, trying to make them look like gay. The main emphasis on black people. Why do you think that is? The poorest, most stigmatized race. Why is that? Okay. And you think it's a coincidence? They have martial art, you know, they have physical prowess that didn't come from playing basketball from 5000 BC. There was no basketball back then. It came from martial arts. So it goes back to strike, right? Try, key, right? Throw that out. Trick, E, he's a bitch. Take him outside and get rid of him. Truck, E-I-O. Nonsense, you're slow. You're not the true strike. Ra-ka. Rake, right? A-E-I-O-Y. Court. Right. Carrot. Core at core. meaning heart. Core at, or just core. Right? So having heart, right? The heart, if you truly have heart and courage and honor, you are not going to try to call on God after I'm gone. You're a snake. You didn't stand with me. You are the repetition of generations of people that were not screened out and that didn't stand with people like me. And then here I am, the last. My dad came in the generation before mine to America in the 60s, right? All those Americans leading up to it did not stand with him. So if you're now here in this generation and you don't stand with me, you're from the continuity of people that did not stand in the martial art order. Okay? And then you did not stand at and you didn't stand with the guy when he's gone, or your father, or whatever. You can't then turn around and say, well, I'm the new way. You're not the new way. There is no new way. Even if they cloned me and had my clone watch my videos, even if I had a kid and had them watch my videos, they're not in the martial art order either. So it also goes back to hit, high, I, at, a, hot. Okay? Hot. Remember, Igbo means king, heart. Hut, temple, right? Hut is a play on words for hot, right? The sun, brilliant. Okay? Be real on. Okay? Bright, be right. And be raw. The G and the H and the T can remove. The G is the Masonic bitch shit, the gnosis, the hypnosis, the nonsense, the fake idea of God and geometry. The H is defense, the T is the feminine suffix. They all can be removed. Okay? Also, we get, Y, eat, to, tie, at, O. Okay, stab, bats, right? Bat is the deity, and is said to be the deity on Narmer's apron, if you will. Excuse me, not apron. Kate, excuse me, not kilt. Okay, they do bitch shit to confound my speech. Long story. Obi and abs, right? Abs help balance and allow for torque. Okay, but what abs? Anybody who goes to the gym and says, "Look at my abs." No, it has DNA and. Right? It's the whole thing as this guy comes into the form. Now, obviously I won't be able to do it because I'm in drugs and da-da-da-da-da. He stabs with a certain efficacy. Okay? And you can imagine how much that pisses me off. Have a bunch of beta ninnies drugging you all the time. And you can't come into the true form to convey the true spirit. All they can see is the semblance of my body structure, right? And the old pictures I have where it's very obvious that I was in very extremely upright martial art form. And who didn't stand with me and why. You think I wasn't reaching out to people for the last 10 years, especially when I've been making videos on YouTube since August 2009? I'm reaching out to the entire world. Why isn't anyone standing with me? Okay, because they're not receptive to the true spirit of God because of their breeding, right? Breed and bred, be read, reproduction, raw prediction, right? Raw prediction. Okay. You can predict when it ends partially by the mind control, the last days, right? The last meaning the female, the T is the feminine suffix, and the days. She's in a trance, she's in a daze. Okay? So again, the wordplay around body, structure, figure, strike, hit, stab, slice, right? It has the word ice, right? When L-A-Ka versus L-I-C or L-I-Ki, Ki being the Sumerian earth goddess, which is also a word for G. That's part of why she can be removed, because this kingdom is not of this world. So anything of this world, including the fence, the G and the feminine suffix, right, Mother Earth, can be removed. That's why right becomes raw. Okay? Remove the G, H, and the T. Okay. So when we look at this thing, right, I don't think, go ahead and take a screenshot of my notes if you want. Here's the top half, 3, 2, 1. Here's the bottom half, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Especially like the part at the beginning, right? This is the book from Fighting for Honor, the history of African martial art traditions. If you're a martial artist, you're concerned with the source. This is the source. If you don't look into Africa, you're not doing anything. It's that simple. If you don't look for Africa for the source of martial arts, what are you doing? What are you doing with yourself? You're an idiot. You're completely incompetent. Why not? Why the fuck not? The elephant in the room, even Shaka Zulu ironically called himself the Great Sagiti, the Great Elephant, right? The elephant in the fucking room, genius. Where the fuck you think elephants come from? They're sitting there sucking a goat dick, avoiding the elephant in the fucking room. And they think that they're an insightful and superior martial artist. Think about that. How stupid is that? How pitiful is that? Motherfucker have to spell it out for these ninny-ass pussies, and they still do the wrong thing. And you think I'm supposed to say it nicely? They're bitch. They're rape cult, rape energy, snake energy having bitches. It's insane not to see it that way. My goodness.